Recognizing James. Written by Minty and Shunting Yard Studios. Told by Minty. When James had a nasty accident, Thomas rushed to his rescue and helped him home. The Fat Controller was proud of Thomas's bravery and rewarded him with his own branch line. Thomas had so much fun, running up and down his line with his two faithful coaches, Annie and Clarabelle. One day, he went to visit James at the works. James wasn't having fun at all. It was dull being repaired and sitting in the works all alone by himself. "Cheer up, James," said Thomas. "The Fat Controller said you should be back in working order soon." "It's not fair," James cried. "I've worked on this railway longer than you. I should have been given that branch line." "Never mind, James," soothed Thomas. "You're just cooped up in the shed. Maybe what you need is to stretch your wheels and get to work the second you're out. Surely that'll make you feel better now that you have new brakes." "And then what? I've done my fair share of the workload, just as much as you and Edward. I've never caused any trouble up until my accident, and that wasn't even my fault. It was those silly trucks and my faulty wooden brake blocks. I've got nothing in return for all the hard work I've done. I might as well leave." Poor Thomas felt sorry for James. Later, he saw Edward shunting in the yard. "I agree. James does deserve something for all his hard work." "Yes, indeed," said Thomas. "But what? The Fat Controller can't construct another branch line by the time James is mended." Edward pondered for a moment. "Well," he began, "ever since he arrived on the railway, the other engines used to tease him and say he'll always be in their shadow because his black paint doesn't make him stand out. So, why not give him a new coat of paint?" suggested Thomas. "Perhaps we could tell the Fat Controller to have him painted blue like us. Would that cheer him up?" "I don't think so. The passengers would be more likely to confuse him for me," chuckled Edward. The two engines sat quietly, deep in thought. Then Thomas remembered something. "Do you remember Liam?" "Red Liam? Why, yes, of course. What about him?" "I remember James used to look up to him. He loved how the passengers used to admire his striking red paint. So, what if we surprised James with a coat of red paint?" "Splendid idea, Thomas," whistled Edward. "James will feel better than ever before. You'd best find the Fat Controller and tell him at once." The next day, James was drowsy and slow to wake up. As the firelighter built his fire, the Fat Controller arrived. "Good morning, James. How are you feeling?" "Much better, sir, I must admit, but what?" James was confused. "Am I not going back to the other railway, sir?" The Fat Controller was taken aback. "Whatever for, my dear engine? I had hoped you'd like to stay on my railway." James was surprised. "You see, James, I've spoken to your controller, and we have come to an agreement. You've more than earned your place to stay here on my railway. And what's more," he paused impressively. James watched as two workmen approached him holding a large mirror. "As a token of my appreciation, I asked the workmen to have you painted in a brand new color." James couldn't believe his eyes. He was no longer painted black, but bright red with black and gold lining. "I was planning to have you painted blue, but someone convinced me otherwise." James looked to see Thomas, smiling brightly at him in his dashing new coat of paint. "So, James, what do you say? Would you like to stay here and work hard as one of my engines?" James was so happy, he whistled fit to burst. "Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely, sir." And you'd be glad to hear that to this day, James has retained his lovely coat of red paint. He was even given a number 5, which only made him look all the more stunning. He may be a bit of a show-off, but everyone knows that James is just proud to be the Fat Controller's one and only really useful red engine. Thomas is always sure to whistle every time he sees James at the junction, and James whistles back in return. He was glad to have friends like Thomas and Edward, but even happier to call the island of Sodor his home.